down prices.
For the record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury, and JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice.
We ask our listeners and viewers to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Live from Radio Cayman Studio.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the Record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
With Orrett Connor.
Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is For the Record.
For the Record. 1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair. Today is Wednesday, the 23rd day of October 2024, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. We do hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on our roads and the traffic may be slightly lighter these few days, simply because most schools, if not all, are out at this time period. But that does not mean that you still should not observe the rules of the road, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or operating any type of motorized vehicle. If you do observe the rules of the road, then you know what? The life you save may just be your own. Those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, or if you've celebrated one over the past few days, we want to wish you a happy birthday, and to remind you that For the Record birthday shout-outs brought to you by Coca-Cola, who are proud to support your birthday shout-outs. Coca-Cola available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga wholesalers. You should accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing. This morning, I'd like to extend sincere condolences to the family of Miss Zoe Borden, who passed away recently as well. Another stalwart in the aviation industry, a dedicated public servant as well, and a very Christian lady also. Always extremely pleasant, as some of the old people would say, the old saying, she doesn't, have a mean bone, in her, didn't have a mean bone in her at all. Pleasant lady. So we want to extend our sincere condolences to the family of the late Miss Zoe Borden as well. Those of you who are ill, whether you're at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands or overseas, we do wish you a speedy recovery. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. Don't forget that For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I have the distinct honor and pleasure of being your host. My name is Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. We have a toll-free number provided courtesy of Flo that you can call in. Of course, we have that beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson waiting to take your calls as well. The other numbers are 949-8037, 949-6990, or WhatsApp number 925-3261. Follow us on YouTube by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream, and of course we are on Facebook as well. So first of all, the birthday shout-outs, again, proudly brought to you by Coca-Cola, who are proud to support your birthday shout-outs. Coca-Cola available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga wholesalers. You should accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. So who's celebrating a birthday today? Mitza Callan, Miss Mitza Callan, celebrating her birthday today. Dominic Dacre is also celebrating a birthday today. Wesley Price celebrating a birthday, and David Joseph also celebrating a birthday today. Upcoming birthdays: tomorrow we see Joyce Rogers celebrating a birthday as well. Oh, okay. So Joyce Rogers, that's the sister, the Premier's sister, as well. And of course, we know that the Premier is over in Samoa at the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. I believe that King Charles arrived there today as well. He was in Australia before that. Some say it was a warm welcome that he received in Australia. We know that one Australian senator who's an Aborigine, that she heckled him and shouted out, "You are not my king," as well. That carried headlines, that made headlines in throughout the world as well. But we know that we will be well represented at the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. No doubt they will pay homage to Sir Sirdath Ramphal, who is a former Secretary General of the Commonwealth, and he passed away, of course, of Guyanese descent. He passed away a few weeks ago as well. And just so that you know, the heads of government meetings, the overseas territories, they do not sit really at the table. They sit behind the United Kingdom because while we are part of the Commonwealth, we are part of the Commonwealth because we are an overseas territory. We belong to the United Kingdom as opposed to being on our own. So we sit in the back, but depending on the type of prime minister that you're dealing with, sometimes they will allow you to have much more voice than others, as well. So it'll be interesting to see what transpires over there, and we look forward to hearing from our Premier when she returns. Folks, with that, we're going to take our first commercial break. Of course, I'll remind you that Dr. Steve McField will be in the studio after the 8 o'clock news at 8:15 as well. Don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the historical vignette series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, he hath founded it upon the seas.
Although very similar to their Grand Cayman counterparts, organized religion in the sister islands was spearheaded by the work of Baptist ministers as opposed to Presbyterian missionaries who started the churches nearly 40 years after that in Grand Cayman. In May of 1885, Reverend J.H. Sobey, minister of the Second Baptist Church of Montego Bay, visited Cayman Brac at the invitation of the Brac seamen. During his visit, Reverend Sobey held the first service in a large house, and it was so overcrowded that the following day a tent had to be erected to have the service. In 1886, Reverend Sobey returned to Cayman Brac with Secretary of the Jamaica Baptist Missionary Society, Reverend E.J. Hewitt, in order to introduce Reverend H.W. Rutty as the Brac missionary worker. Congregations started at various settlements with the construction of 2 chapels in Stake Bay and the Creek. The progress would continue continue, and 6 months later, Reverend Rutty was ordained as a permanent missionary, and more congregations were formed in West End, Sport Bay on the east end of the island, and South Harbour in Little Cayman. Reverend Rutty's son and grandson would go on to become Cayman Brack's collector and Chief Justice of the Peace.
Radio Cayman's historical vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
The Rotary Central Music Extravaganza tickets are here. Get your tickets now and win that $40,000 grand prize, $4,000 second prize, and 6 $1,000 prizes. Tickets are only $25. Get your tickets now from any Rotary Central member, Rotary Central ticket seller, eventpro.ky, and 916-7310. Rotarian Annie Rose Scott, the Sister Islands. You may be that lucky winner. Rotary Central, supporting more than 28 projects important to our community. The 29th Annual Rotary Central Music Extravaganza, Saturday, November 30th. Salters Harbor Grill, Red Bay, the magic of Rotary, through Rotary Central.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Cayman and pay mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone, and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
This is For the Record.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio yet. Dr. Steve McField will be in with us at 8:15. We have about 8 minutes before we go to our 8 o'clock news. So let's see what we can share locally with you in our local newspapers online. So we see where the Cayman Compass has an article that speaks to the fact that hundreds of Caymanian families have used the tax rebate to buy their first home. That is good to know. Good to know. So I'll share this article with you. And it says that almost 900 Caymanian families were able to get their foot on the first rung of the housing ladder through government's stamp duty waiver for first-time home buyers. The policy cost around $15.35 million in lost revenue over the past 3 years. So that's what? 5.7 million per year on average, if at 15.35 million. Over 3 years and 8 months. That's at about a total of 27.25 million worth of due to concessions over that time period. Not a whole lot of money that to be concerned about when we're spending it for our own Caymanians. Those are my words. Between 2021 and August of 2024, the government granted a total of 891 applications for concessions to Caymanian property buyers in Grand Cayman. The policy allows qualifying Caymanian home buyers to avoid the 7.5% tax payment, which makes buying a first home prohibitively expensive. As of this year, Caymanians buying their second home have also been able to take advantage of a 3.75, that's 3.75 stamp duty rate, provided the value of the property is below the $600,000 threshold. This is according to figures released to the Caymanian Compass through a recent Freedom of Information request. From January to August this year, government recorded $4.6 million in foregone revenue to the stamp duty waiver, the highest figure based on the information that was released. I'm going to see if there's anything else here. They go into a lot of numbers. I want to applaud the Compass for the work that they have done. And if you note there that they were able to come to the conclusions that they have and to provide us with those figures based on a Freedom of Information request. Folks, I like to talk about history, and and this one isn't that far. When Kurt Tibbetts, Honorable Kurt Tibbetts, was leader of government business, one of the many things that he pursued and was successful in achieving was ensuring that a Freedom of Information law was put in place in the Cayman Islands. The journalists at the Compass, they are doing their job as journalists, making these Freedom of Information requests, and when it isn't sensitive information, when it isn't information that has been deemed to be of such a nature that it can't be revealed by cabinet, we're allowed to get all of this information. Now, one could argue that had the government been more proactive in providing this information, then it would not necessarily have required a Freedom of Information request to obtain it. But we are where we are, where we're at, and they have obtained it. Now, there are a lot of quote-unquote journalists out there who are lazy or incompetent and simply don't do their job. And as a result of that, the quality of their reporting leaves much to be desired. Here we have the Compass able to provide figures, statistics to us based on Freedom of Information legislation. Right? What freedom of information legislation does, it allows the light to shine in for you to see what is there. Some may argue that we're not able to see as much as we should, but we have to keep the ball rolling. When freedom of information legislation was passed here in the Cayman Islands, we were lauded for it because we were way ahead of many independent countries, certainly way ahead of all of the other overseas territories as well. And in Bermuda, they call it PADI. I'm trying to remember what the acronym now. I shouldn't have said it if I didn't know. Couldn't remember what the acronyms were. PATI has something to with access to information, but I'll tell you what the acronym stands for when we return at some point in time. But again, the story is about close to 900 Caymanian families having the ability to take advantage of the stamp duty waiver for first-time buyers of homes, and those who are purchasing a second home, benefiting from 3.75% reduction in stamp duty fees for them as well. That's putting roof over the heads of many, many more Caymanians as well. I see the affordable homes in North Side work has looked like, I will say resumed, because from the road you can't see what's taking place in the back. But on Sunday, I saw heavy equipment being offloaded there as well when we were out in that area cycling. And hopefully, maybe some persons will be able to get into their homes by Christmas. It'll be a nice Christmas present for them, as well. Okay, so folks, we've reached that stage, the top of the hour, where we're going to go to our 8 o'clock news. When we return, I'm going to ask Dr. Steve McField to talk about, we keep hearing this talk about possibly elections not taking place until June. And we want to see whether or not that is constitutionally possible. If you have an interest in it, and if you are listening and you have access to your a copy of your Cayman Islands Constitution order, let's look at sections 85, which talks about recalling a dissolved legislative assembly. That took place after Hurricane Ivan, of course. And then look at sections 86 that talks about general elections and by-elections, as well. And there's also a section that speaks to the House, section 84, the prorogation and dissolution of the assembly as well. So we're going to look at 84, we're going to look at 85, and we're going to look at 86 to see whether or not it is possible. Because we know that once the House has been dissolved, then a general election must be held within 2 months after the occurrence, after that period of time. So, top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time now is a minute after 8, brought to you with the kind compliments of Foster's.
West Bay, are you ready? The new Foster's Republics has something special for your mornings.
Our brand new breakfast station cooks up the best meals to start your day. And our convenient coffee bar is perfect for grabbing a fresh cup.
Plus, our new deli bakery and made-to-order food stations are better than ever. Whether you're in the mood for a breakfast burrito or a bakery treat, we've got you covered.
We're open from 6:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday to Saturday. So swing by and fuel up for the day.
Discover the improved Foster's Republics in West Bay, making your mornings easier, tastier, and better because we care.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. Regional leaders are in Cayman this week for the Caribbean Electric Utility Services Corporation's Renewable Energy Community Conference and Exhibition. Here's CIDTV's Donna Bush.
The conference's theme, Transitioning Together, Informed, Inclusive, Innovative, was officially opened on Sunday evening. Now, throughout the 4-day conference, participants will engage in thought-provoking panel discussions, hands-on workshops, and networking opportunities with professionals from across the region. The exhibition highlights the latest breakthroughs in renewable energy, including solar, wind, energy storage, and smart grid solutions. By fostering collaboration, the event aims to accelerate the adoption of renewable energy practices that are efficient, economically viable, and environmentally sustainable.
Now, on the other side of the planet, Cayman's premier has been spreading the country's success story. As part of her trip to the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Samoa, the Honorable Juliana O'Connor-Connolly was a featured speaker at the Commonwealth Business Forum's panel discussion on reducing barriers to trade.
We have come in a relatively short time from smoke pots. We are now one of the top 10 financial jurisdictions. And we could only do that because of the connectivity. Unless we got those public-private partnerships, we're going to continue having these meetings and talking and talking.
The premier told delegates they must embrace and encourage private and public sector partnerships, and the Commonwealth as a whole must speak with, quote, one voice. You can watch the entire discussion on Samoa Radio's YouTube channel. And Truman Bodden Law School gets a facelift. On Thursday, the school hosted an official ribbon-cutting ceremony to mark the opening of its new campus at Artemis House on Fort Street in Georgetown. Dignitaries in attendance included the governor, the deputy premier, and the former leader of government business, Mr. Truman Bodden himself. In regional news, Haiti's Justice Ministry called Tuesday for a boost in security for Prime Minister Gary Conille and other cabinet officials in response to unspecified threats that they could be targeted by, quote, malicious parties. The ministry did not provide details other than to say that, quote, consistent and persistent information that the top officials might be targeted by unnamed actors intent on sowing trouble and panic in the country are evident. The ministry urged police and judicial authorities to take, quote, appropriate measures to guarantee the officials' safety. The statement from the Justice Ministry comes as gang violence ramps up in certain neighborhoods of Haiti's capital that aren't already under gang control, just months after a UN-backed mission led by Kenyan police began. More than 4,000 people have been left homeless in the recent attacks targeting communities in Port-au-Prince. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which takes us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller.
BBC News with Govinda Gill. The UN says worsening violence in northern Gaza has forced the postponement of a polio immunisation campaign. The World Health Organization said missing a second dose of the vaccine could seriously jeopardise efforts to stop transmission of the virus. Lebanese media say Israel has carried out airstrikes on the southern city of Tyre. Civil defence workers said the entire population was on the move. A French woman at the centre of a mass rape trial has told the court shame is not for the victims of sex attacks, only the perpetrators. Giselle Picot's ex-husband has admitted drugging her, inviting dozens of men to rape her. Most of the defendants say they didn't know she was unconscious. The UN chief has received a warm welcome at a summit hosted by President Putin in Russia. Ukraine has condemned the participation of Antonio Guterres, saying it undermined the UN's reputation. Mr. Guterres says he'll repeat his long-standing opposition to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The Swedish car maker Volvo has halved its sales growth forecast for this year. Its boss has warned that the car industry in Europe risks becoming irrelevant unless it invests more quickly in transitioning to electric vehicles. Trials are to take place of the world's first vaccine against the vomiting bug norovirus. It's hoped the jab will reduce the financial cost imposed by the illness on health systems. NASA has announced it's in talks to let American scientists analyse rocks retrieved from the far side of the moon by China. The samples were collected by a Chinese mission in June. Shares in Tokyo's metro network have soared in value on their debut. The The sale was hugely oversubscribed. It's raised more than $2 billion for the Japanese government. It's the biggest such initial share offer in Japan for years. That's the latest. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Ladies, it's a Queen Party at Kingpin Bowling every Wednesday with happy hour bowling specials for all of our Cayman queens. Yes, you. 5 until 7 p.m. every Wednesday. Only $7 to bowl with drink specials. Bowling shoes included. Mix it up, walk in, and take a spin for your next girls' night. For more information, call 946-BOWL. That's 946-2695. Or email kingpinbowling@CAND www.ky.
Healthcare Pharmacy, caring about your health for the past 25 years. Radio Cayman's premier health show.
Alzheimer's and dementia, are they the same disorder?
Yeah, I think that's a very important question.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush. For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
Is heard on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Brought to you by Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor, where they care about your health. Transfer and refill your prescription online. Visit healthcarepharmacy.ky or call 947-8900. Healthcare Pharmacy, now with a second location in Governor's Square. Healthcare Pharmacy, where they care about your health. The 8 a.m. weather update, brought to you by CG Britcade, where people come first.
Hey, good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 82 degrees. Relative humidity is 73%. The barometric pressure is 29.90 inches and rising. The wind is out of the northeast at 4 knots. Overnight low temperature was 79 degrees. Synopsis indicate light northeasterly winds and seas are expected across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours in association with a weak pressure gradient over the northwest Caribbean. Radar images show isolated showers in and around the Cayman area, which are drifting towards the south-southwest. Now, the forecast for the Cayman Islands for today, calling for mainly sunny skies with a 20% chance of showers, and temperatures will be into the upper 80s with a heat index near 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Your winds will be north to northeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Tonight, mainly fair skies with a 20% chance of showers and temperatures falling to the mid to upper 70s tonight. Your winds will be north to northeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Today's low tide will occur this morning at 10 minutes past 9, high tide this afternoon at 4:28, and a low tide again tonight at a minute after 11. The sun will set this evening at 5:55 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:24. And the outlook is calling for an increase in winds and seas from tomorrow afternoon as an area of high pressure moves across the southeastern United States, tightening the pressure gradient across the northwest Caribbean. A slight increased chance for cloudiness and isolated showers are likely from Friday morning as a shear line retrogresses across the northwest Caribbean. And that's the very latest on your weather report.
We were set to battle, and your Aunt Angie was leading the pack when...
Aunt Angie, what does this have to do with car damage?
Oh, right. Well, long story long. I took down the assassins and wound up inventing a new form of mixed martial arts. I became an international champion until one sore loser karate kicked my car. But I was covered with CG.
Covered for malicious damage and more. CG Brit-K. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by CG Brit-K, where people come first.
The Rotary Central Music Extravaganza tickets are here. Get your tickets now and win that $40,000 grand prize, $4,000 second prize, and 6 $1,000 prizes. Tickets are only $25. Get your tickets now from any Rotary Central member, Rotary Central ticket seller, eventpro.ky, and 916-7310. Rotarian Annie Rose Scott, the Sister Islands. You may be that lucky winner. Rotary Central, supporting more than 28 projects important to our community. The 29th Annual Rotary Central Music Extravaganza, Saturday, November 30th. Salty's Harbor Grill, Red Bay, the magic of Rotary. Through Rotary Central.
Homeowners, protecting your family and property is crucial during the season, and you should always assess insurance needs long before a storm makes landfall. Most insurers won't issue new policies or increases when a storm is imminent. Cayman Insurance Center's team of professionals can help owners like you find the most comprehensive coverage and competitive rates. Call the insurance professionals at Cayman Insurance Center 949-4657 or email info@cic.com.ky. Don't take chances with your family's future or your valuable assets. Call Cayman Insurance Center's insurance professionals today at 949-4657.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise its valued customers and the motoring public of wastewater infrastructure upgrade works along West Bay Road near Parkway Drive, opposite Excuse. Preliminary activities will start on Tuesday, 15th October, with the main works beginning soon thereafter. This work is anticipated to continue for approximately 2 weeks. During this time, Water Authority Cayman and its contractor will maintain two-way traffic on West Bay Road. Traffic signs will be in place in the general vicinity of the works. All motorists are asked to drive with caution and follow all signs when in the area to ensure their own safety as well as the safety of the Water Authority and its contractor's staff. The Water Authority appreciates the patience and understanding of its customers and the public as it upgrades its wastewater infrastructure and apologizes for any inconvenience caused.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look at traffic. Traffic flowing moderately heading east on Cool Road. Heading to Georgetown on Cool Road, traffic is steady, and steady traffic coming off of Bobby Thompson Way as well as Huldah Avenue. As we look to Shamrock Road and Rex Creighton Boulevard, flowing pretty good in both directions. On the Linford Pearson Highway, moderate flow of traffic in both directions. And on Edward Street, traffic is moving on pretty good. And into Georgetown on Shedmore looking good as well. Off of the Esley Tibbetts Highway, little steady traffic heading towards the Butterfield Roundabout. And on North Sound Road, traffic is moderate in both directions and also heading towards the Industrial Park area. Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue flowing moderately. And as we look to the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is flowing at a good pace in both directions. And coming from the West Bay four-way stop, flowing pretty good. That's what's happening on your roads. Join us again at about 10 minutes past 12. We'll give you another look at traffic.
The rich flavors of Italy just arrived at Subway. Say ciao to the Italianos. Our 3 new Subway Series recipes, carefully crafted with an Italian flair. Try the Hot Shot Italiano for an enticing and zesty touch. The tastier than ever Ultimate BMT, generously stuffed with a mix of ham, pepperoni, and salami. Or go all in with the creamy chicken bacon Alfredo. New Subway Series Italianos. Chef-crafted greatness in every bite. Elevate your game only at Subway. Delizioso.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Sign up for a Flow Mania bundle today and enjoy up to 1 gigabyte of lightning-fast Wi-Fi speed at home and unlimited 5G mobile data on the go. That's crazy fast speeds that make you go, whoa! Everywhere you are. Flow Mania bundles start at $159 per month. Sign up today in store or online at discoverflow.co. Terms and conditions apply. For the Health of It, heard on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. and repeated on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. is brought to you by Cayman Medical Center, Cayman's most awarded private medical clinic, located in the heart of Georgetown. Visit their website at medical.ky or call 623-1000.
Hey Cayman, it's Azaria Wright, your contestant number 1 in the Miss Teen World Cayman Islands pageant. And I am eager to invite you and your friends to join us for this amazing event on Saturday, October 26th at the Arc Camana Bay. Doors open at 6 p.m. and the show starts at 7:30. Tickets can be purchased online at ticketsplus.ky or at Cell Beauty, Mar Boutique, or any of the other contestants. See you October 26th as we present passion with purpose at the inaugural Miss Teen World pageant.
Ladies, it's a Queen Party at Kingpin Bowling every Wednesday with happy hour bowling specials for all of our Cayman queens. Yes, you. 5 until 7 p.m. every Wednesday. Only $7 to bowl with drink specials. Bowling shoes included. Mix it up, walk in, and take a spin for your next girls' night. For more information, call 946-BOWL. That's 946-2695. Or email kingpinbowling@candw.ky.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping before I introduce Dr. Steve McField. We're going to start with the fact that the Orchid Society, they will be having an exotic orchid sale on Saturday, the 26th of October. That's this Saturday. It will take place at 9 o'clock in the morning, 9 a.m. in the courtyard at Harbor Walk in Grand Harbor, which is beside Hurley's supermarket there. So, Orchid Society having an exotic sale on Saturday, the 26th of October at 9 a.m. Courtyard at Harbor Walk in Grand Harbor, right beside Hurley's. I'll repeat this again on Friday as well. Also, we had a few callers on Monday's show talking about the docks. The Whitehall dock is slated to be worked on first. I have been reliably informed. Spoke to the minister while we were doing our news. Money has been allocated for the repair of the Whitehall dock. And those of you who don't know where Whitehall is, younger generation of Caymanians or younger generation of other residents in the island, Whitehall dock is right there by Lobster Pot. That's called Whitehall. And also, monies have been allocated for the repair of the dock in Frank Sound as well. We heard former Minister Mr. Art McLean speak to the fact that where the dock is located, and the minister has confirmed this as well, neither of them see it as exclusively their responsibility, and not saying this in a negative sense. They both have concerns about it. They money is there, and it's going to be done. So it's not any blame game or anything like that. I'm also advised that, we had a couple of storms this year. On average, it costs at least $15,000 per storm for each dock that has been damaged for it to be repaired. So they're looking to change the construction of docks so that you don't have to continue to repair them every year. And you heard also Mr. McLean speak about the fact that, we need more concrete docks rather than the wooden one as well. So for those callers on Monday, the Whitehall dock slated to be repaired, as well as the Frank Sound dock. Funds have been earmarked, have been allocated to both of those projects. Now, the minister can push the technical people and the departments to get it done. Whether, what constraints they may have in terms of getting the work done, is another question as well. Also, this morning, another one of our listeners was concerned about the fact that the Department of Agriculture appears to have a shortage of chemicals, and as a result, farmers are suffering from crop loss due to pests. And the minister has advised that there may have been some logistical issues coming out of Florida after their experiences with the hurricanes as well. But he will be looking into it and inquiring from the Department of Agriculture precisely where those shortages exist as far as chemicals for farmers are concerned as well. So we have been able to address those two issues. We will continue when you share your concerns. We will try to get answers for them right here on For the Record, and we, of course, will go to reliable sources to obtain those answers for you as well. So with that, Doc, good morning. I'm sure all of those persons looking in on YouTube and everything, I mean, you're a sharp dresser. You had, what was the name of your store again? What was it called? Mahogany's. So, you've always been a sharp dresser from the Seaman days.
Oh, yes. Even before that.
Southwell days, even before that.
Before that.
You really, look sharp this morning. Yeah. And that's almost like a tweed,
Yes.
Yes.
I obtained this from my cousin, actually.
Okay.
Godfrey's Enterprises. He brought this in for me. My cousin. We were very good. We cousins and very good friends.
He was also a sharp dresser
He's
too,
also a sharp
out
dresser,
in New York.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think it runs in the family. When I was young and I was going to school, I remember, and even after I got older, I would get up early in the morning and press my pants so that it had a seam. And when I was young, I did not wear jeans, because jeans could not hold seams. And it looked like you were working in the fields.
Yeah, and with those days we used to call them dungarees.
Dungarees,
yes.
And I would sit back in class and my chair so that my shirt sleeve didn't wrinkle.
Yeah.
And my teacher would say, "McField, sit up!" And I used to like that. She'd take a roll and tap me on the back. And
because those days you didn't have wrinkle-free clothing.
No. Everything was cotton, cotton and starch. Everything was starch. And my grandmother used to starch, and sometimes Aunt Net. Remember Miss Aunt Net?
Yes. Yeah. Down out by Betty's, right opposite you down in there.
Yes,
yeah.
The starch, the color in the cuffs were starch stiff. You could hardly turn your neck and stuff in those days.
Yeah.
And that had been my and my grandmother used to say to me one time, "I don't think you're gonna make anything out of yourself," because all you do is clean up and look sharp all the time, look dressed all the time. You know, that was the trademark that I got from my grandfather.
Yeah. I heard my uncle Malachi was a sharp dresser too.
He was the best.
Sky Blue.
Sky Blue was the best. Nearly every year that they had the best dressed man's contest in the town hall. I was young. I was go out there and look, and I remember the night that he actually won the best dressed contest, the Crown and Glory. I now know that he had on a double-breasted white. He had on a double-breasted white tropical wool suit, and a Feldora hat, and one of those pairs of shoes with the, you know, with the
wing tip. Yes.
Put the whitening in them.
Yes, yeah.
Like take not much stick and put the whitening in them, and that was what, and it was a big thing in those days. You got prizes for that. Yeah. You know, and he had a bicycle too. A bicycle which was in those days like a Rolls Royce, because not too many people could afford the 15 and 16 pounds to buy a bicycle. He had a bicycle too.
Yeah.
Yes, he was a sharp man. And the other sharp men in Cayman Islands that I used to follow too was Mr. Val Anderson. Mr. Val always was sharp too.
Don't forget Stanley too, Stanley Seymour.
Oh yeah, gosh. We call him Black Pete. Black Pete was a sharp dresser. I remember some of the stuff he wore, like James Brown. He was a James Brown imitator, and he used to wear his clothes like James Brown, and of course there are all the seaman tales of he and I when we were young and going out together. We went into Mobile, Alabama. No, Jacksonville, Florida it was. And our ship was on dry dock. And in those days, my hero was Nat King Cole.
Okay, yeah.
I knew every song that he made, you know. And that year he had 3 songs: "A Blossom Fell," "If I May," and "The Sun and the Sea." And we were in dry dock for 3 weeks actually, and we went ashore to get our hair like James Brown and Nat King Cole. I remember in those days they would to have your hair straightened, and they would use something Irish potato and lye. That were the ingredients in those days in the black people section. Colored people they call it in them days.
And of course Jacksonville, that whole area was very racist.
That's right.
Racist
That's
area,
right.
huh?
Because they what separated the white from the black section was Main Street, Jacksonville, and we had to walk across the white area to get into the black area. And so we went that day down. We went to the barbershop that day and to get our hair, what they call conked up.
Yeah.
And you know, I told the guy, I said, this thing is burning my head. Oh, he said, just a little sting. He said, burning my head. So I went home. I went on the board ship, and I got up that, and he gave me a handkerchief to tie around my head, so at night, so that my hair doesn't get all ruffled.
Yeah.
And then I went next morning into the mess hall for breakfast. I had taken the wrap off and just put it on my bed. Went upstairs, and everybody started laughing. And said, well, they were laughing at me. What's wrong? And they say, McField, have you looked in the mirror this morning? So I didn't actually look in the mirror, you know, just brushed my tooth and went upstairs. And people went upstairs. One whole side of my head, the hair had fallen out. There was no hair on one whole side. The side of my head, the hair had fallen out.
I burned it out.
He had burned the hair out. Yes.
Wow. So we're going to go to a commercial bit, but very quickly before we go there, how much did scouting influence your tidiness in terms of
that was
the seams and pressing the seams and having your shoes shine and all and your scout because those days you had the on the scout belt itself that was metal and you would shine that as well.
That was the foundation of everything through the Cubs and the Scouts. And when we were going on parades, for instance, on Sunday, we all had to go to Dobson Hall from Saturday evening and sleep there. And Teacher McField would say, I want those white hats that we wear, white as pelican, you know what? And he says, I want your shoes shine, and I can stay on one side of the street and see my face and them on the other side, and those belts. And so that was a that was a foundation of. And if you notice, all the boys in those days were sharp men.
Yep.
They were even in older years. They kept their shoulders straight. They were sharp men.
Oh, yeah.
And they were always clean when they went out. And there were no ragged people in those days. And Teacher McField was the sort of foundation of our civic pride, of our personalities, and so forth. He was our leader in every sense, not only a cub leader. And we remember now, before we went to Teacher McField, it was Miss Joyce Hilton, Miss Frances Borden,
Miss Tit-Tit,
and Mr. Noel Johnson.
Yes.
And we that old fort building, that's where we had our drills and stuff, and behind the town hall.
Yeah.
And so forth. So,
and that was Georgetown, and then of course the other districts, West Bay and stuff, like they had their.
Every district had a
and them, yeah.
Every district had a scout troop.
Yep.
Whites.
Yeah. Doc,
Sea Scouts.
Yes. Doc, thank you very much for that. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we'll talk a little bit about the UK politics. I don't know if you had an opportunity to read the headlines this morning, but the Republicans are complaining, and of course Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister in the UK, has acknowledged that yes, people from their party have gone over to the United States to help the Democrats campaign as well. Very interesting.
I didn't read it thoroughly, but I just saw the headline.
Yes. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly with Dr. Steve McField.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
You can now renew your driver's license or motor vehicle license online, and you don't need an ESID number. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Visit www.dvdl.gov.ky.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers, a compounding story.
I don't think people realize how pain creeps into your life. It has a way of robbing your strength. I really don't like taking prescription medication orally.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. They understand.
When it comes to compounded medication, it's personal. So whenever there's a problem with some medication or treatments that's not working right, then a physician will call me and say, hey, they're having bad side effects from this medication.
Compounding pain cream changed the game. Made special for me. Significant pain relief in the form of a cream. That is a new experience for me.
It's changed his life.
It worked.
Ask your pharmacist or healthcare provider about compounding at West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Call 914-6449.
Brand Source is putting the sizzle into the season with their fall cooking sale. Fall into savings with 15% off on all cooking products, including gas and electric ranges, cooktops, microwave ovens, built-in wall ovens, and speed ovens. Luxury brands included. Don't miss out. Shop now and save 15% on cooking products before this offer ends on October 31st. Cook up your best dishes with Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Call 623-5000 for more details.
There's something new in the neighborhood. What's new and improved? Eastern Avenue Rubis!
Open from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day, Eastern Avenue Rubis is now being operated by your friends at Reflections. Treat yourself at the fully stocked convenience store, while the spooktacular pump attendants fill your ride with the new state-of-the-art Ultra Tech fuel, which improves fuel economy and optimized performance, so you drive longer for less. On the way to an event empty-handed, stop by the Eastern Avenue Rubis to fuel up and grab gift certificates for use at Reflections Hemp and Tobacco tobacco, food for less, and liquor for less. Jose's at Eastern Avenue Rubis. Enjoy better service and better prices at Eastern Avenue Rubis. Now open.
See yourself in Reflections.
Reflections, always driving down prices.
This is For the Record.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. My pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning none other than the sharpest man in the Cayman Islands, Dr. Steve McField, the sharpest dressed, and the youngest 80, how many years old?
89.
The youngest 89-year-old person in the Cayman Islands, as well. So, Doc, earlier I was sharing an article from the Compass newspaper about the housing, and almost 900 Caymanians have been able to access the reduction, stamp duty reduction on first homes, and then as well as the those on a second home, the 3.75%, as well. And I lauded the Honorable Kurt Tibbetts for his pursuing and implementing freedom of information legislation here in the Cayman Islands, and we were one of the first overseas territories, and as far as independent countries in the Caribbean and worldwide, one of the first as well. And I was referring to the Bermuda access to information called PATI, P-A-T-I. Those are the acronyms, and the acronyms stand for Public Access to Information. So I just wanted to clarify that with our listeners, as well. So, Doc, I believe you have in front of you a copy of the Cayman Islands Constitution Order 2009. We keep hearing, and we haven't heard it officially yet, but we keep hearing that it is quite possible that we won't have our general elections here in the Cayman Islands until June of this year. Most expectations would be maybe in May, depending. But we're going to look at the Constitution to see what it speaks to, how in that regard. And I'm going to give our listeners and viewers, as well as you, Doc, a date, 21st of April 2021. I did some research, and that is when the swearing in of the new Parliament or new Legislative Assembly in the Cayman Islands took place, following the general elections in 2021. So the operative date that we're looking at now is the 21st of April 2021. So let's look at our Constitution, Doc, and see what, let's start with section
84.
And let's read that and tell us what all of that means, Doc.
It's a prorogation and dissolution section in the Constitution. It says the governor acting after consultation with the Premier and by proclamation may prorogue the Legislative Assembly and shall do so annually.
Okay, let's stop there for a minute. So, and we have heard legislators talk about that really every year the Parliament should be prorogued.
That's right.
Yes, okay.
And then 81 subsection 2 says, the governor acting after consultation with the Premier may at any time by proclamation dissolve the Legislative Assembly.
Okay, and that means?
That means that in case there is a vote of no confidence or something like that, or if the Premier finds that he doesn't have the confidence of his party or the people in the House, he can go to the governor and says, I want to start all over.
So
he can call us. In other words, he can call a snap election.
Yeah, that was the phrase that I was looking for.
He can call a snap election.
Yes. Okay.
And then 84 subsection 3 says, the governor shall dissolve the Legislative Assembly at the expiration of 4 years from the date when the Assembly first meets after any general election unless it has been sooner dissolved pursuant to this Constitution. In other words, although the governor can have a snap election, and although it is prorogued yearly, you cannot go beyond the date of the last election, 4 years.
Okay, so we
You
cannot go beyond.
cannot go beyond 4 years.
And in this case, 21st of April, 2021.
Yes. So 21st of April 2021, it would be 21st of April 2025.
Yes.
Would be 4 years. So if the governor is obliged by the constitutionally to prorogue, to dissolve the Legislative Assembly on the 21st of April next year, and the Constitution says that after the Assembly is dissolved, you have to call an election within 2 months after that date that the Assembly is dissolved.
Okay.
That means that 2 years after,
let's
2
read-
month, 2 months after the 21st of April, there has to be an election. And where will that take you? That would take you into June.
Yes. So let's share section 86 of the Constitution that speaks specifically to that issue.
So 86, general elections and by-elections. Section 86.1 says, a general election of members of the Legislative Assembly shall be held at such time within 2 months after every dissolution of the Assembly as the governor shall appoint by proclamation published in a government notice. And Section 86, subsection 2 says, whenever any person vacates his or her seat as a member of the Legislative Assembly for any reason other than its dissolution, an election to fill the vacancy shall be held within 2 months. Within 2 months after the occurrence of the vacancy, unless the Assembly is sooner dissolved, or the date on which the Assembly must be dissolved under Section 84.3 is less than 4 months after the occurrence of the vacancy.
Okay, good. So for clarity, again, Doc, point out those situations whereby the Assembly can be dissolved. Starting, so we'll go back to Section 84 again.
Yes.
One.
Annually. At any time, the government may do so. After consultation with the Premier, he has to consult the Premier.
Snap election could take place.
Snap election can take place. And every 4 years after the last date, when the Assembly meets after an election.
Right.
After an election. That's how it works.
Okay. So 21st of April 2021.
Yes.
And in each of these instances, if an election has to take place, I shouldn't say if, an election has to take place within what period of time?
2 months. After the dissolution of an election, of the Assembly, after a dissolution, an election must take place within 2 months. That is constitutional and mandated in 86.
Okay.
In Section 86.
Okay, and then we're going to go one step further. There are, under Section 85, circumstances under which the Legislative Assembly or Parliament can continue after that
after it had been
4 years.
After the 4 years.
Yes. Share that with us, please.
That section deals with recalling a dissolved Legislative Assembly. That's what it's called. Section 85 says, if between a dissolution of the Legislative Assembly and the date on which the next ensuing general election is held. So let's stop there for a minute. Between the dissolution, just say for instance, on the 21st of April 2025 and June 25.
Yes.
If between that time is held, a matter arises of a nature and urgency, which in the opinion of the governor makes it necessary for the assembly to be recalled, the governor may act in after consultation with the premier, summon the assembly that has been dissolved, and that assembly shall thereupon be deemed to be deemed, except for the purposes of section 86, not to have been dissolved, but shall be deemed, except as aforesaid, to be dissolved on the date on which the next ensuing general election is held.
And
so that means that if something happens, if there's an emergency, what would be an emergency?
Well, we know what prompted all of this,
Yes.
Hurricane Ivan, because at that time our Constitution didn't make any provisions for it. So we had to then seek a constitutional amendment for the legislature to be recalled, and that was done fairly quickly because of the exigency of the situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if God forbid we have another situation like that after the 21st of April. This year, next year, another hurricane would come. The governor can recall the assembly, and that assembly would continue as if it had not been dissolved until the next election.
Exactly. Okay, Ms. Susan, I think I need to come to you for a break, right? Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. My pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning Dr. Steve McField. We have been discussing the possibility of the next general elections in the Cayman Islands. Constitutionally, they would be due before the 21st of June 2025, since the new parliament after the 2021 general elections took place on the 21st of April 2021. Dr. Steve McField has pointed out that after the parliament has been prorogued, dissolved, then an election based on the Constitution must be held within 2 months. Within 2 months of it. So, and it doesn't say 60 days. It says two months. So that would be two calendar months. You know, as well. We know that previous constitutions did not have provisions for this. So after Hurricane Ivan in September, elections were due to be held in November. They were put off for 6 months, which brought us to May of 2005, as a result of amendments that were made, orders in council in the UK to allow that to happen. And of course, during our constitutional negotiations that resulted in the 2009 constitution, we made sure that we had provisions in there that addressed that lacuna, that gap that we had, in there as well.
And you can see one of the constitutional reasons for having the election, because there's no rush. There's no rush to do it in April. It seems to me that if they're having two referendum questions on the ballot, people will have more time. They will have more time to go to the public with the referendum questions.
Yep.
People will have more time to hear the pros and cons of the questions, and then they would have more time. Actually, I wouldn't count. The rest of this year, because the referendum law has not even been. Has the referendum law been settled yet?
No. That hasn't been brought to.
The referendum law has not been settled. So I would say that start from January next year, they would have at least 4 months in which to make up their minds after hearing all the pros and cons about the referendum question to go to the polls to cast their ballot and their vote.
And Doc, I would imagine that at some point in time, the supervisor of elections, the governor, and I'm sure the premier as well, and the speaker would probably be involved in those discussions as to when the parliament would be dissolved, and then we should expect to see some sort of election program being made public. I'll try to see if I can dig up maybe somewhere on the elections website the program that had been established for the last election, because you have so many things that have to take place, in terms of the appointment of returning officers, deputy returning officers. I am sure that we will have to make provisions for observers from the CPA, observers to be here, as well as to have local observers present, not only for the general elections, but also for the referendum as well. So there's going to be a lot of work involved, and that may be a strong argument, like you said, for going up until June.
Yes.
Now, there may be, other ulterior motives as well. Those in power, those in control want to stay in control as long as they can.
As long as they can, yes. They want to hold on to their seats as long as they can.
Yeah.
Because remember now, too, another consideration is that once the assembly is dissolved, they're not getting paid as MPs.
No, they continue. They continue.
They continue?
Yeah. They get paid. And remember now also that new amendments had been put in.
Oh, yes.
That they 3 months after, if they're not re-elected, they get paid.
Oh, yes. They still get paid. And they get paid for 3 months after if they lose their jobs.
Yes.
I mean, if you lose your job here at Radio Cayman is not going to keep paying you 3 months after they fired you, because the people that fired them.
Well, I'm glad you used that word fired, because if you fired, depending on what kind of contractual arrangement that you have with your employer, you may be, if you fired suddenly, you may be entitled to, severance pay or whatever, 3 months or whatever. So maybe that's the way that they approached it and say, listen, if I was out there in the private sector and I got fired, they would have to pay me so many months' salary.
Yeah. So the word would be fired then or rejected.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Very, 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 very interesting. So this person wrote and said, I hope they don't hold the elections in June and risk an early hurricane interrupting the elections, especially since storms are forming earlier than ever. That's a very valid point.
Whoever sent that text in, that's a very, very, very important matter.
Yep.
Important consideration.
It says start the campaigning and information campaign from November through to May. Not being lazy. Okay. So that is very, very interesting that you wouldn't want to get too close to the actually you would be into the hurricane.
That would be into hurricane season, and then the problem is if you have a hurricane around that time, you might not have an election that year at all. It's a possibility that you might have to go to the next year.
Yep, that is extremely, extremely interesting. Yes. I am going to go try to find. So we have about 2 minutes before we go. What do you think about and this Starmer, Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, admitting that they do have workers over people from their party who have gone over to the U.S. During the campaign, and they said it has always been done. What do you think about that, Doc?
Well, that's a revelation to me, and I had no idea that had been done, always been done. That one country could interfere in the elections of another country. I mean, here we are, and with all these safeguards in our constitution that prevents people from coming over, people from interfering in our constitution, and then the fact that we have observers in our constitution from other countries to make sure that doesn't happen in our constitution, and then they do that. I just didn't know that, Mr. For the record, and I'm glad that you told me that this morning because I learned something very, very important new today that I didn't know before, and it seems to me that's very outrageous and very high-handed to one country to go to another country to campaign for a particular party against the other party in that country. That doesn't seem right to me.
Well, but when you look at Nigel Farage, for instance, real right winger, and he has gone over there. He, as a matter of fact, I believe he may have spoken at the Republican National Convention, as well. So it does take place. I believe that what this is. Well, we have to go to our 9 o'clock news, but when we return, I will talk about the international concerns that are out there if Trump, resumes the presidency. What their concerns are, and I think this may be a reflection of that. As well. Folks, top of the hour, headline news. When we return to the conversation with Dr. Steve McField will continue. Please stay tuned.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
On Saturday, folks attended the Circle of Love Fellowship Brunch as part of Older Persons Month 2024. Attendees say it was an event filled with inspiring messages from various speakers and elders who shared their wisdom and encouraged all attendees to age out loud proudly. In international news, Giselle Pellico, the French woman whose former husband is on trial for drugging and raping her when they were married and inviting dozens of other men to rape her, took the stand in court today. She told the court she wants women who have been raped to know that, quote, it is not for us to have shame, but for them. The 71-year-old is taking the stand following a request from her legal team that she be given the chance to respond to evidence and testimony that has been shared so far in the trial. And Israel has carried out at least 4 airstrikes on an historic Lebanese port city hours after expanding its evacuation orders to cover several central neighborhoods. Video showed huge black clouds of smoke rising from a seafront area that is only a few hundred meters away from a UNESCO World Heritage listed Roman ruin site. There were no immediate reports of casualties. The Israeli military earlier warned civilians to leave, saying it was going to act, quote, forcefully against the armed group Hezbollah there. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record in the studio. Dr. Steve McField. Our phone lines are open just in case if you're curious to let you know. Our toll-free number 1-800-534-8255. Also 949-8037, 949-6990, or WhatsApp number 925-3261. This person, we'll deal with our listeners first. So someone has sent in a WhatsApp message and the person says, good morning, Mr. O.C. and Dr. Steve. I have a question to ask. Please, if I could retrieve some information pointing me how and who can deal with this matter. It is very serious, but reluctantly don't want to go through the police station as there are numerous incidents and it goes nowhere. Serious fraud through the police. So they don't want, the person says they don't want to go to the police. There is no confidence in the police. So they're curious to know what other avenues they can go through. I think we have a police review complaints.
They got a police complaint
commission.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can go to the whoever writes that request in. I would suggest they go to the police complaint commission,
mm-hmm.
and they make their complaints there. They relay their complaints there, or they can go to the minister who controls the police.
Okay.
And that is Mr. Manderson.
Mm-hmm. They have added something else to this. They say that their problem is with a financial institution, a bank. So it's not they don't want to go to the police because they don't have any confidence in the police, but it has to do with a financial institution.
Well, they
so
should go to CIMA.
CIMA, yeah, Cayman Islands Monetary Authority.
CIMA has
oversight
over the banks, and they should go to CIMA and make a complaint there.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
yes.
I'll send that off to them. We do have a caller, so let's grab the caller, Doc.
Yes.
Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning, O.C. Morning, Doc. How you doing?
Good morning. Fine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm up on by the farm here. Me and my old brother in up here looking at our farms. I know I would like to ask a question. Well, two. Under the misuse of drugs law, if I am caught selling drugs and the proceeds from my drug, say, bought a car, a boat, a house, or anything, and they can work and prove that it came from drugs, they can confiscate it. for Crown, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now, the people that are stealing all of the drugs out of the pharmacy, remember, if you steal something, it is illegal, and if it's not prescribed through a doctor or a pharmacist, it is illegal. So all of the government workers that have stolen millions of dollars worth of drugs from our pharmacy, right? I wonder if the police that investigate them for the ill-gotten gains out of that thing, because this didn't start overnight. Because I know people that were buying the THC vapes from Munster. They have the cost, they would get it legally. Now, question number 2. How it is that when a civil servant get catch doing wrong, betraying the trust of the government, the people of the Cayman Islands, how can they be suspended on pay for 6 months, 8 months, 9 months till the case is out? Now, I know how it's done, but I want to find out why it's done. How it's done is, remember, all of them are civil servants, they're in a clique, right? So the police runs the investigation down to the max. 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 6 months, 3 months. Then the DPP, they roll it out for another 6 months. But if an ordinary nigga get catch on the street, I see people coming from Miami and get catch with guns in the morning, they got them codeine or with gun. Why it is that the civil servants that break the law, that they were trusted, why aren't they treated the same way? Thank you. I'm looking forward to some answers from you, great gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you very much, caller. Doc?
Well, it's obvious that in the civil service, they are going by the rule of law and by the presumption of innocence. A person is innocent until they are proven guilty. And once there's an interdiction of that person who's a civil servant, the civil servants requires them they remain a civil servant until the case is finished. And because they are still innocent people, the civil servant either pays them full pay or pay them half pay while they're awaiting the court procedures to see whether or not they are guilty or not guilty.
Because they're not allowed, without permission to take up other employment.
No,
they're not allowed to.
No, they're still civil servants.
Yes,
they're still civil servants. And the drug situation, anyone who steals anything that does not belong to them, whether it's drugs illegal or drugs, is still a theft. And if you steal drugs from a drug dealer who that is carrying drugs that are illegal and doesn't have a license to sell them, you are going to be charged, as well as he is going to be charged too. And the problem is that I think there was another question. He
the one about the proceeds of crime, and I wanted to add to that as well.
The proceeds of crime too.
Is the burden of proof on the prosecution to prove that these are that you have illicitly gained those, or is the burden of proof on the person who's being charged?
The burden of proof is always on the prosecution. It never shifts to the defendant.
Okay.
They tried to do that here many, many years ago, and they could not get away with that in drugs cases. The burden never shifts to the defendant. That is a cardinal principle of the British criminal law, and it's the prosecution to prove that you are benefiting, you or your brother or your mother or sister or your friends are benefiting from the proceeds of an illicit sale of drugs. If they can prove that, all your property that you have during that time that the evidence said prove that you were benefiting from drugs can be confiscated.
Now we have seen law enforcement taking more of that report, that approach, simply because they believe that the most effective way to hurt criminals is to go at what they have.
Yes, to go at their source of wealth, because they can use that source of wealth to be able to stay in power doing unlawful things. And that reminds me of a case that I did last year. I think it was last year or the year before. It's one of the Dr. Dalton Watler's case. He was arrested. He was a civil servant. He was the deputy chief officer in the Ministry of Sports. He was arrested and taken to his house, and his house was searched. And in his house, there were something like $30,000 in U.S. dollars in cash and checks that he had. And he was charged with conspiracy to commit a criminal offense, and he was charged with money laundering and so forth. The case came up for trial after several months, and the prosecution put on their case. And after the prosecution put on their case, of course, we made a no-case submission that the prosecution had not proved their case, and the judge, who was Miss MacDonald Bishop, who is now the president of the Court of Appeal of Jamaica, heard the case and uphold the no case submission and dismissed the case. And the prosecution were arguing vehemently about the fact that the money had been found there, especially the English policeman who they said had been investigating the case for 2 years. This is what she found. Not only was he working and had something like getting his salary was in at $9,000-10,000 a month, he had a substantial amount of money saved in a bank, and he proved that that money had come from his spouse in a settlement with a condominium that they had owned jointly in Miami before they got divorced. And that the checks that he had been obtaining employees of Ritz-Carlton's paychecks. Ritz-Carlton was paying those employees in U.S. dollars, and he was getting those and paying them in CI in it, and then cashing those checks so he could have save the U.S. dollars for himself. And the judge found that the government had not proved one iota of evidence to show that he had been involved in any criminal activity, and of course the judgment went on to say, among other things, that had he been unemployed now and had that kind of money in his house, that would have been a presumption of suspicion of guilt that he would have to rebut. But that never happened, and she dismissed the case. But the thing about it is, they took his $30,000 and some other money that he had, and it took me months and months and months after the case had been dismissed for me to get the police to release that case, release that money that they had seized.
And why did it take so long?
Oh, they were. I guess they
spent it and had to re-earn it, or what?
No. I think they were very upset that he had lost such an important case, and I kept writing them, and then I had to threaten them that I was going to sue them after I made an application for the courts to give the money back, because when you seize funds like that, you can't keep it after like 74 hours. You either have to give it back to the person or put it in court.
Okay.
And they put the case in court. It goes in a summary court. Now, it's the police has to give the release for it, or you have to have a trial in court to get the release for it. And it took me. I never did get a trial date in court to get the release the money. And I had to threaten them. And finally, the commissioner of police then said that went to his people, to his lawyers, the DPP, and the DPP then finally said that they didn't have any claim on it, on the money, and that they were not going to be claiming it any further, and they released the money back to the person to Dr. Dalton, who they had taken the money from, and so it's a all of us position to be in if you're innocent. It's an onerous position to be in. They can take all the money they can not only the cash that they found in your house, but they can seize money you have in the bank too,
and
put it in
even freeze your account.
Trace your account.
Freeze them as well. Okay, we have to take that commercial break, folks. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers, a compounding story.
I don't think people realize how pain creeps into your life. It has a way of robbing your strength. I really don't like taking prescription medication orally.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. They understand.
When it comes to compounded medication, it's personal. So whenever there's a problem with some medication or treatments that's not working right, then a physician will call me and say, hey, they're having bad side effects from this medication.
Compounding pain cream changed the game. Made special for me. Significant pain relief in the form of a cream. That is a new experience for me.
It's changed his life.
It worked.
Ask your pharmacist or healthcare provider about compounding at West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Call 914-6449.
The DVDL Customer Support Unit is now open. Customers can book appointments for written and driving tests through DVDL's hotline at 945-8344. That's 945-8344.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
Brand Sauce is putting the sizzle into the season with their fall cooking sale. Fall into savings with 15% off on all cooking products, including gas and electric ranges, cooktops, microwave ovens, built-in wall ovens, and speed ovens. Luxury brands included. Don't miss out. Shop now and save 15% on cooking products before this offer ends on October 31st. Cook up your best dishes with Brand Sauce Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Call 623-5000 for more details.
Avoid contact with standing water and floodwaters during and after a storm to prevent exposing yourself to serious health risks, including infectious diseases, chemical hazards, and injuries. As an added precaution, your emergency kit should also include personal safety equipment, such as rubber boots and gloves. For more useful hurricane preparedness tips, visit the Water Authority's website at www.waterauthority.ky or follow us on social media.
Life's best moments are precious. Taking the time to cherish them with those we love is the most important thing in the world. At Cineco, we've got you covered for all these moments, helping you take care of your health, supporting your family's next move, and making sure those you care about are protected on the road. Visit Cineco.ky today. Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We have a caller on hold, so we're going straight to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, good morning, Mr. O.C. How are you?
Good morning. I am fine. How are you?
All right. I'm not a regular caller, but I'm a regular listener to your program, so I really enjoy it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and thanks for calling.
I feel glad when Mr. McField is there because he's so knowledgeable.
So many people do. So many people, yes.
Yeah, and you got a good staff there, Susan, all of them.
Oh, yes. That's her radio voice.
Yes.
Right. I got three things that is bothering me. Well, number one, do you think that we will ever get back to the way that we used to be, where you could be able to vote for 3 to 4 people in your district or whatever, instead of this nonsense about this one-man thing? Because that's going to create a lot of problems coming down along the road.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's hold off on that one first. We'll answer them as you bring them to us.
The three things, and then you can note it down, please. if you don't mind.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. The second thing is that I don't care how much liens they make in Cayman on the road that we have. If whoever government doesn't do the right thing, we gonna suffer for years and years to come. And it hurts me for those people that trying to get down to work in the morning, or even worse, trying to get home in the evening. They got to get home so late because of all this whole traffic congestion to be facing for years. My idea and suggestion would be that government look into putting a causeway from Bacchus, North Sound, in the North Sound, right along the mangroves, come straight up, go straight up. And they won't have to buy no land from nobody because they would be putting down the piles to build the causeway in the sea. And all they would have to do is to have the bridge opening for like governor's place where all them yachts come out and Harbour House Marina where those boats in and out. Just have two regular small boats would just go down to either one and come out and go about their business in the North Sound.
Okay.
And 3, what is your opinion by that four-way stop by the Mango 3? Can you just answer this quickly? Is the people that coming from east, they feel that they have the right of way, and something serious is going to happen there, like fatalities, I believe, if we don't try to nip that in the bud. How it is that people can respect the four-way stop at the hospital and Smith Road Junction there. You don't have no problem there. Everybody acknowledge it and give the appropriate person to go ahead when they see it. But at the Mango Tree Junction there, everybody come from east, they just pass, drive through, and no respect for other people coming from town going east or coming from the airport going down to town. They're just bypassing and going towards Foster to the airport. There needs to do something about that. Put an office out there so that you can educate the people that they don't have the right of way. They must stop when they come to that giveaway sign and look to see who was there before. I don't know if you agree, but they need to do something. The police need to do something about that because something serious is going to happen there. If it's not a fatality, if it is an accident, you're going to hear people having a road rage because you blaming me and I blaming you. And it could be nipped in the bud by the proper acknowledgement of giving way to respective persons who was there before them.
Got you.
Can you answer that, please?
Got you. Okay. Doc, we're going to start with you on multiple votes.
Okay. Sir, we can get back to multiple vote. It depends on the people. The people can have a referendum. It would need a referendum, by a people's referendum, to force the government to reconsider the multiple voting. It's the people's choice. You remember one man, one vote. They had to have a referendum on that, and the people chose one man, one vote. Single member constituency, one man, one vote. It's the people's choice. The people could go back to the polls again on that. But once they have a referendum on it, the Constitution is not written in stone. Nothing is written in stone. It's the people's choice. It's the people's voting system. Number 2, I have been to other countries where they have the kind of causeway in which you're speaking about around a bay, where you can drive right around the bay. And it's a beautiful scenery driving around the causeway in the bay. And it also, on the other side of the bay where the causeway comes through, it also has development, amusements, development, and things like that. But of course, that's not going to happen here because we do not have that kind of resources to do that. I don't believe. That would take years and years and years to do. And we are not nation builders like in other countries. We only build for the next election, and that's what we build for. We build to get it re-elected for the next election. We do not build for the next generation. We build for the next election. That would be something to think about, and it would have to be a bold leadership. It would have to be strong, bold leadership with strong people to set a policy of what's going to happen in the next 50 to 100 years in the country. I don't see that happening here. I don't see the kind of caliber of people to set that kind of policy, to set that kind of goal. As I have said, it's only a 4-year policy, a re-election policy. Everything is done based on getting re-elected.
And those that argue, Doc, if I may interrupt you there, that argue that we're allowing mangroves to be decimated and to be destroyed.
Yes.
Anyway, would say that if there are any environmental concerns, about it, we're doing harm anyway.
Yes.
In relation to that. Only yesterday, actually, I was talking to a young man, and he had to drop his sons from West Bay to his employers, to their employer on Sound Road. And he was bemoaning the fact that they no longer had the ferry service that they had there, because he said he has to leave home at 4:30 in the morning to get them there. Otherwise, he's going to encounter traffic coming from West Bay. But if the ferry had been operating, then they would end up at the Georgetown dock there, the North Sound dock, and could have easily walked from there, to their employer. So he was bemoaning that. On the question about having three votes, though, how do we address this whole issue of the votes having equal weight? And what I would question the people about is how would you feel if your dollar in West Bay was worth more or worth less than a dollar in Georgetown, or the one in Bordentown, or the one in East End? How would you feel?
Well, I guess that's a consideration, but I guess if the people by referendum voted for the majority with it,
yes,
with it, that would have to be what it would be. The causeway in the North Sound, many people have suggested that, sir, if you're still listening, but it takes time and it takes money to do it, and it takes effort and it takes leadership to do that, things like that.
Yes.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay, I think he's saying something now.
Yes.
Listen, Mr. Vargas, coming back to number one, so I was trying to say something when you jumped to number two, sir. But anyway, I have found and heard from few representatives that they don't like this one-man thing. So, like what you rightfully said, they would have to get back to a referendum to get it changed when they need to do something, because it's not good. And when it comes to voting, I don't even know who I'm going to vote for, because I would like to exercise my rights of voting for the amount of people that I have to in my district, right? But as it is now, I can only vote for one. And I don't like that. That is stupid as far as I'm concerned. Getting to the cause where you have eloquently explained your point of view, but as far as I'm concerned, the money shouldn't be the problem. We should get it from somewhere about, honestly, and do this because this is what is needed. And then they could think about using it as a state toll or whatever we call it. You got to pay to use it, and they could make restriction. Only cars be run on that, not them only have trucks. Let them have trucks there on the ground so they don't mash it up. That's what they need to do, and they can find the money. They can find the money to do other things. Let's think about that, because you can make a million liens that they're doing now, and it's not going to help the problem. It can make things worse.
And it could be a public-private partnership, and it could be a toll to $50, 50 cents, or each way or something, so that you can have money to maintain it, and so forth.
Yeah. And caller, just before you go, because we have another caller and we have to go to
and
commercial
the mango
break.
tree, 4-way.
Yeah. Well, one person has written in and said mango tree is a roundabout. You give way to the traffic from the right, so you have to give way, but there are yield signs there. Hospital Road is a 4-way stop. There are two different junctions, the person says, I think. So yes, and at the 4-way stop sign, the car to your right, if they're there first, the car to your right is the one that you give way to. But I agree with the caller that people just simply drive as if you can have the right of way. You can have the right of way and still be wrong.
Yes.
Because if you don't do something to avoid having an accident and you just assume I have the right of way, so I'm going to just go, then you're contributing to an accident as well.
And I just want to make one point, one last point to the caller. Caller, if you had a traffic department, if you had a traffic department, an ardent traffic department that enforced the law at those junctions, to make sure that people were obeying the rules of the highway, the rules of the road as they learned when they got their license. If you wouldn't have all of this confusion, but there's no traffic law and people are doing whatever they want to do, and it's a free for all. It's a lawlessness on the road.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember when I was in charge of traffic, I made sure that an officer be out there on the motorcycle and educating the drivers of how to use that area and various other places that the people complained about. That's what they need. But you can hardly see a motorcycle officer.
Yes.
Yep.
I remember that now.
Yeah.
I remember those days. You can when you had 100 cars, but now we have 100,000 cars. You don't see in a motorcycle.
Yeah. Caller, I want to thank you. Thank you very much. We've gone beyond our commercial break, but thank you very much for calling. Thanks for listening.
Yes.
And don't hesitate to call in whenever you have a point of view that you want to share with us as well. We do have a caller on hold on the WhatsApp number. We will take that caller as soon as we return. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
You can now renew your driver's license or motor vehicle license online, and you don't need an ESID number. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Visit www.dvdl.gov.ky.
Did you know that you can send money transfers to financial institutions anywhere in Jamaica with JN Money?
You mean I can send money straight to my account and cut out the middleman?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. You send your own money to your own account, giving you peace of mind that the money is in your account.
JN Money Transfers to Financial Institution is another convenient service offered by JN Money. You can have this done from any JN Money location. Deposit your money straight to your account without the hassle of asking someone to do it for you. JN Money Transfers to Financial Institutions, making life easier.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware to stereos, from power tools to plumbing supplies. Yeah, we got the best goods with the best price and a service to make you smile. At Kirk's Home Center.
I work hard each day. I'm a mother, sister, daughter, wife, cook, and everything in between. I know that no matter what, I have to be the woman I need to be. And that's why I choose Curves for that time of the month. When the pressure is on, I know I can rely on Curves sanitary napkins to keep me dry and comfortable all day and night. Affordable and available in cotton or silk. With Curves, I can be the woman I need to be all the time.
Strong, resilient, beautiful. Be the woman. Curves.
With Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We do have a caller on WhatsApp. I want to thank that caller for being so patient. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Osei.
Good morning.
Steve.
Good morning, ma'am.
Also, Miss Susan. 3 persons that I really looked up to and learned a lot from and know how to keep myself here. I have more than 3, but my first question to Dr. Frank was a well experienced.
That's Dr. Steve McField.
Steve McField, sorry. I'm so sorry. Dr. Steve McField. Oh, I look up to you so high, sir. As a lawyer, a doctor, someone who well experienced, someone who humble, and a role model for everybody here and worldwide. If and when I could meet with you, sir, I would appreciate it. Because not everything I want to speak publicly, but I will just draw a little bit of scenarios and get the guidelines from there. But as a registered voter, yes, the one man, one vote, I wouldn't mind and see something else. Why? Because I am talking from experience. And it's only experience teaches wisdom. COVID done a lot to the island and worldwide. And I remember going through, not only going through COVID trauma, but illnesses trauma. And I went to more than one private, single.
Caller, we're limited for time, so I'm going to ask you. You said you had 3 questions. I'm going to ask you to please ask those questions because we have a limit on time, please.
That's good. All right. The single voting, I wouldn't mind to hear that. Yes, there is a referendum to change it where you can vote more than one area, so that you don't get embarrassment, you don't get kicked out, and you just don't push under the carpet. 2, the situation with the police station, why I reluctantly don't want to go there, is to see some changes. And I don't want anybody to bash or blame the deputy governor, nor the governor, nor whoever. It's just that some persons who there long time covering for the ones them who are doing the bad. And that's an experience. 3, as a institution, I had the experience. Thanks for your feedback on it and where I must go. But Dr. Steve, hello?
Yes?
I wouldn't mind if you could meet with me sometime.
Well, you could call my office, 946-3020, and make an appointment there with one of my people when I will be in the office.
Did you get that number, caller? Did you get the number?
946-3020.
Great.
946-3020. Caller, thank you. Thank you very much. We have another caller on hold, Miss Susan. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC.
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
Morning, Lord Graham.
Yeah.
Mr. Agent.
Yeah.
Yeah. All over the night now I'm on
yeah, well.
I can't stay on the payroll.
Yeah.
God, not get paid yet.
Yeah, well, you know, my grandmother say if you don't get in the washing, you get in the rents in.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Yeah.
The caller from the brand, I think might have misunderstood what he was saying. I think what he was saying was that, why is it? Or he was thinking it might be some sort of conspiracy where when somebody with the government get charged for something, you answer it by saying you're innocent until proven guilty. But what he was saying was they draw the case out so long, and he think it's just so they can, continue receiving pay. That was really what he was saying. But
I don't know that. I don't know that.
I think that's why you were trying to.
No, I don't have the proof. I don't have the proof of drawing the case out so they could pay. I don't think I don't have any. I don't have any evidence of that.
Well, there's a lot of people that within that the government that get on that are put on leave that the case take all year before it can come.
Put on leave, yes, but they have not been charged with any offense.
Yeah, well, Yeah, the DPP might be drawing it out too.
Yeah, and I think some people believe that the process takes too long.
Yes, the process,
Right.
yes.
The process take long. Why would the process take long? Because they wanted to take long. That's what the gentleman was saying, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But another thing concerning the activities that were going on, I do believe that they should be investigated and see what funds were that they obtained from that drug dealing that was going on. Because I have cousins who get pulled with one little piece of paper in his car, and they assume that it was from the sales of number selling, gambling, which don't carry a really serious penalty here in the Cayman Islands, and yet everything that he almost owned was seized. Anything like funds in the bank was seized. So he wasn't he wasn't guilty. He wasn't guilty. He should have been they should have waited and seized the funds after the fact. Right away they seized his funds. So I think they should investigate deeply into all that drug dealing and see how much money was made from the sales of all the hospital drugs that was on the street. And if they need names, I can give names of people who was buying to lose weight and all kind of scenario they had going on. So I think we need to investigate that very deeply.
Well, I'll point one, Lord Graham. They'll tell you that is a police matter and that comes under the governor. That's what the politicians will tell you, because we have no redress for that unless we go to our representatives, people who were elected, because under that particular thing, that's the governor portfolio, which she's not appointed by us. But I can tell you that the Legislative Assembly has the right to form committees, select committees. They have a right to form select committees to investigate anything that the Assembly thinks should be investigated, and to call any witnesses that they want to call. And you see some of that when you look at American TV. You'll see the different committees calling witnesses when they want to get it to the bottom of something or want to clarify something. They'll call people. But I have not seen that done here at all. I don't even know that the politicians know that they have that power, that they can establish a select committee, and they can establish a select committee, and they can call any people to get the underlining reasons for whatever they say has happened, but they haven't done it here. It's like all they seems to know is to just go down to the assembly, pass a few laws, and go and get their pay and go home.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even know the Constitution. So, Dr. McField.
Well,
or the powers that the Constitution gives them.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. A lot of them not familiar with the powers that they really have.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, if you want a real power, you better know what what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Lord Graham, thank you very much. We're going to take a last commercial break. Doc, we never forget this saying.
Yes.
Justice delayed is justice denied.
Yes.
And that is so extremely important. I believe we have a few callers on hold. We will take those callers as soon as we return from our last commercial break. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
She hear clunk and her car stop. I was just about to send her some money, so I send it straight to her JN Money transfer card. It cost me less, and perhaps she use the card, pay the garage right away. She'll get discount through the JN Rewards program in Jamaica. This card make things easy. You can even get funds at any multi-link ATM.
JN Money Transfer Card. Fast, affordable, convenient. Tell your loved ones in Jamaica about it. Sign up is free.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers, a compounding story.
I don't think people realize how pain creeps into your life. It has a way of robbing your strength. I really don't like taking prescription medication orally.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. They understand.
When it comes to compounded medication, it's personal. So whenever there's a problem with some medication or treatments that's not working right, then a physician will call me and say, hey, they're having bad side effects from this medication.
Compounding pain cream changed the game. Made special for me. Significant pain relief in the form of a cream. That is a new experience for me.
It's changed his life.
It worked.
Ask your pharmacist or healthcare provider about compounding at West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Call 914-6449.
Brand Source is putting the sizzle into the season with their fall cooking sale. Fall into savings with 15% off on all cooking products, including gas and electric ranges, cooktops, microwave ovens, built-in wall ovens, and speed ovens. Luxury brands included. Don't miss out. Shop now and save 15% on cooking products before this offer ends on October 31st. Cook up your best dishes with Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Call 623-5000 for more details. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman is proud to continue to serve our island community. During the last Lionistic year, they successfully carried out community projects like the Prostate and Colon Cancer Awareness Campaign, sight screenings, spelling bees, swim meets, and their community food pantry. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman looks forward to continuing their service during the 2024-2025 Lionistic year and for many more years to come. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman. Where there's a need, there's a lion, serving the community for over 50 years. Shop at Funky Tanks, the home of electronics and more. Check out Funky Tanks' 2 locations, Shedden Road and Countryside Savannah, for loads of savings. In stock at Funky Tanks, both locations, stoves, fridges and small appliances, mini split air conditioning units, sheets and comforters, all sizes, window curtains, cell phones and telephone accessories, musical instruments, karaoke and Bluetooth speakers, portable radios and portable fans are now available. Get yours for your hurricane kit. Funky Tanks. For more information, call 949-0998.
Hey, did you register to vote yet? The final registration deadline to vote in the 2025 general elections will be the 1st of January, 2025. Go to elections.ky to download your registration form. Once you've filled it out, take the form and the originals of all your required documents to the elections office. They're located on West Bay Road in Baytown Office Suites. Or you can even email it to them. Register to vote by January 1st, 2025. For more information, visit elections.ky, call 949-8047, or email office@elections.ky. Your vote is your voice. Make it count.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last leg of a very lively and interesting and informative For the Record this morning. Ms. Susan, how many callers we have left on there? No callers. Okay, so we'll keep it that way. Doc, I have some concerns, and I think this is why it's going to be extremely important for the powers that be to give some indication as to when general elections are going to take place. Extremely important. We just heard the ad talking about registration.
Mm-hmm.
That ad could potentially be misleading if the elections are not held until June.
That's right.
Because it is saying that, in order for you to qualify to be able to vote in next year's election, that January the 1st is the last date, for you to. But our voters' registry is compiled on a quarterly basis. Mm-hmm. So every 3 months, so January, February, March, 1st of April would be the next one. Mm-hmm. So if the elections, let's say, for argument's sake, not going to take place until before the 21st of June of next year, then you have up until April. So that's why it's so important for a decision to be made and clarity. Yes, the date of
the election.
Now, I did some research and I went on to the elections website, and last general election in 2021, on Sunday, the 14th of February 2021, Parliament was dissolved. And also on Sunday, the 21st of February, 14th of February, the proclamation declaring a general election was made. That is made by the governor. The governor makes that proclamation.
Yes.
Then on the following Monday, the 15th of February, the writs of an election were issued. And this is all under the elections law. Then on Monday, the 22nd of February, the notice of nominations. They say that nominations will take place on a particular date, and nomination date was then the 1st of March. And then on the 4th of March, there was what is called a notice of a contested election. Now, what that means is that if you have, well, in each constituency now you have only one person to be elected. So let's say, for instance, in your constituency, only one person was nominated and nobody else was nominated. Then that's an uncontested election because there's no one to run against.
Yes.
And we've had that on several occasions. We had that in East End. I believe it may have also taken place in North Side. It took place in the Brack at one point in time. As a matter of fact, one of our noted families here in Cayman had raised an objection against Mr. Burns Ruddy because they were objecting to his election, but there was no one who ran against him.
Yes.
So he was automatically, in. So that is what that notice of a contested election is. I don't think in this day and age that we're going to see that happening, but that is what that's for. And then on the Wednesday, the 14th of April, we had election day that took place. So all done within that 2-month period, right? So why is it? What are we waiting for to
and make the announcement?
And get this program sorted. Especially since now we have a referendum that's going to take place at the same time. It all needs to be, to be done. But this rumor that we're hearing about the June elections, it's gaining some traction,
and it needs to it needs to be put to rest.
Yes,
put to bed.
Yes.
One way or the other.
One way or the other, clarity needs to come, to it. People, complain about snap elections, and they say it isn't fair because the, government of the day gets to, in many systems, get the opportunity to decide when the election is going to be held, and they do it to their advantage. Now, some of them have erred and thought that they had the advantage and found out at the election that they didn't and ended up in defeat. But, so clarity needs to come to this. Doc, I'm going to give you the mic for the next 5 minutes.
Well, it seems to me that, Mr. For the record, that we're in a position now where, and especially what we need to capture now is all those young people who have not been registered. There are still hundreds of people who have not been registered. Not been registered.
Who refuse to register
and who refuse. I just want to ask you a question. And is it true that in some jurisdictions, voting is compulsory? You have to vote.
Yeah,
it's a civic duty that you can be fined if you don't.
And then there are some that registration is compulsory, but voting is not compulsory.
Registration is compulsory.
Yeah, Australia, for instance.
Australia.
Yeah.
So do you think that would fly here?
I think it. Well, some people would see it as being more dictatorial, more authoritarian, but then. our people, Caribbean people, they like the strong leaders. They like the heavy-handed leaders and stuff like that. They like that. I mean, this person has written in and said, why are prisoners given shelter, food, and water? Homeless people are not. Yeah, I understand the part about the homeless people, and their plight and stuff like that. But we have to bear in mind that prisoners are human beings,
and they're incarcerated. They cannot go and get food and water for themselves. They don't have that liberty to get food and water for themselves. So what you going to do? You're going to lock them up?
Yeah.
Don't give them food and water because they're prisoners?
But we here in the Caribbean, we like strong men, strong leaders. That's why, surprisingly, a lot of people in the Caribbean, support Donald Trump because he's strong. Yeah. But what was and I mentioned this on Monday, it was good to see that the Jamaicans in the U.S., New York, and all of those places are going to those to the crucial states, to
register
and to campaign for Harris as well.
Okay.
And I said that is good. We see the Jamaicans, people from the Caribbean doing that. I wonder what the Indians are doing. What are they doing? In that regard, because she's half Indian, she's half Jamaican as well. Don't see too much about the Indians. Oh, and on the UK thing there with the Starmer, and I'm talking about these people. They're members of party, but they are volunteers. They go there and they volunteer. As well. So it's not like the political party, or they're saying it's not like the political party.
Well, I hope they don't come here. I hope they don't go. They don't come here as volunteers in our election.
What is funny? I think, and you spoke about election observers, and initially I was a little skeptical when we first had the election observers here in the Cayman Islands. I was a little bit skeptical.
Me too.
But if you have absolutely nothing to hide, and we had nothing to hide, our systems were transparent. Everything was transparent except for the ballot paper. You couldn't see through that. That's about the only thing.
Yes.
Everything else was transparent.
Yes.
And, now I support that. I laud that you have someone looking over your shoulders who at the end of the day get the opportunity to criticize and to make recommendations.
Yeah, and in today's day and age where you don't have political parties, but where you have individuals getting elections as independents, is very crucial that you have observers to make sure that the election goes peacefully. Not only peacefully, but there's no hanky-panky going on in the election, and that you can get a good, clean bill of health.
Yes. Doc, today's been another good day. Another good day, everybody. I'm going to soon give the hosting over to you. No. But we make a good team. We make a good team.
So
and maybe if they change the voting system and you can vote for, if you have two members representing a constituency rather than one, then you and I run as a team.
Exactly. Yes. That would be good.
Okay. Any closing comments from you, Doc?
Not really.
Before you head off to court?
I'll have to head off, yes, now.
But thanks again. I want to thank all of those persons who listened in. I want to thank that person who indicated they listen every morning, but that was the first time that they called in.
Yes.
But we want to encourage them to continue to call in. Now, there are times when we may be pressed, for time, and we can't hold that long conversation that we would like to have, especially if we have other people, holding on. We have to respect them as well. But I want to encourage people to call in.
Yeah, we want to share with them that the radio station is supposed to be obtaining more funds.
Yes,
and it may be that you might be able to go on more than 3 times a day.
Yeah.
3 times a week.
Yeah.
So if that could happen next year, that would be great.
Okay.
So thank you for asking me again, and waiting for your next your next call.
Will do. This person says our vote is our voice. Speak up, Caymanians, and we have one voice.
Yes.
But I think people need to appreciate the concept of every vote having equal weight, and you can't, if you want to have a society where everyone is equal, then that have one person having 5 votes, another one having 3 votes, another one having 2, and another one having only 1, that is not having equal.
That is not democratic, and
No,
that is not
it
the
isn't.
international norm for voting.
Right. Now, we may want to look at, and see, people sometimes don't want to look beyond the horizon. They're looking in the rearview mirror and they want to go backwards to that system. Why don't we talk more about having the single member constituencies, maybe reducing those, and then having at-large voting, where at-large voting, if you have 4 or 5 candidates running at large, you get the opportunity to vote for
4 or 5
each of
people.
those. And that's the way that you would get that as well. Folks, thank you all. Don't forget to join Sterling Dwayne Ebanks at 12:15 for Talk Today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord, please, please, please continue to bless these 3 beautiful Cayman Islands.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury, and JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Kirk Market, experience a world of choice.
Radio station. Radio Cayman is the voice of the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local